Forget everything you think you know about death. Forget peace. Forget the gentle fade to black. Imagine instead a silent, suffocating abyss. And then, a voice. A command, tearing through the quiet, hooking into what's left of you. It pulls, it rips you from your rest, dragging you back through cold soil and splintered bone. This is not a rescue, it is a violation. Your body, a broken prison you thought you'd escaped, is forced to reanimate. Your lungs, filled with grave dirt, strain to draw a breath they no longer need. Your lips, sealed by decay, are forced to part and speak. This is the art of necromancy, not a conversation, a desecration. And it proves that the one thing more terrifying than death is being dragged back from it. The first violation. The hunger to break death's barrier is as old as grief. But what begins as a whisper for a final conversation quickly curdles into a scream for power. In ancient Greece, they built oracles of the dead, the Necromantian, believing they could politely ask the departed for secrets. They thought rules and rituals could protect them. They were wrong. The whispers from the other side were never meant for living ears, and it was only a matter of time before someone stopped asking and started taking. That person was Erichtho, a witch from the blood-soaked fields of Thessaly, who saw the dead not as spirits to be revered, but as puppets to be used. As described in Lucan's epic, Pharsalia, she didn't just talk to the dead, she hijacked them. Her home was a tomb, her laboratory a battlefield. When the son of a great general needed to know the future, he didn't go to a priest. He went to her. Erichtho found a fresh corpse on the battlefield, its eyes still glazed with the horror of its final moment. She smiled. With a rusty blade, she carved open its chest, the sound of cracking ribs echoing in the night. She poured a boiling potion of venom, gore, and what the text calls lunar madness directly into its heart. The corpse didn't just wake up, it convulsed, its back arching unnaturally as hot fluid sizzled through its cold veins. It clawed at its own throat as a voice, not its own, tore its way out. A horrifying guttural shriek that spoke not of the future, but of a civil war raging in hell itself. Erichtho hadn't just summoned a spirit, she had forced a damned soul back into its mangled flesh to witness an agony that mirrored the chaos on Earth. She proved that the true horror of necromancy isn't summoning a ghost, but creating a monster. The Devil's Bargain. Once that door was kicked open, there was no closing it. Through the medieval and Renaissance periods, necromancy became a frantic grab for power, a pact signed in blood with forces that were never human. This leads us to the legend of Pan Twardowski, a 16th century Polish nobleman whose ambition rotted his soul. Twardowski wasn't content with mortal knowledge. He wanted everything. So he made a deal with the devil, trading his soul for ultimate magical power. He thought he was clever, adding a clause that his soul could only be collected in Rome, a city he then refused to ever visit. For years, he was a king's advisor, a master of illusions, using a magic mirror to call forth spirits for the court's amusement. He grew arrogant. He believed he had cheated his fate. One night, at a dingy tavern, the devil came to collect. Twardowski laughed, pointing out they were miles from Rome, but the devil didn't smile. He simply pointed to the inn's wooden sign. The name, carved into the wood, was Rzym, the Polish word for Rome. In that instant, the shadows in the corner of the room deepened, coalescing into a shape that defied geometry. A cold that had nothing to do with the weather froze the air. It wasn't a demon of fire and brimstone that took him. It was a silent, absolute void. Twardowski was dragged, not to hell, but to the moon. He remains there today, a solitary figure in the cold, silent dark, eternally exiled from the warmth of humanity. His story is not a warning about being outsmarted. It is a portrait of true damnation, an eternity of cold, lonely awareness. The Soulless King. What is the final goal of necromancy? To defy death completely. But what happens when you win? You become Koschei the Deathless, a monster from Slavic folklore who embodies the ultimate horror of this dark art. Koschei is not a man. He is a metaphysical cancer. A skeletal sorcerer of impossible power, he is what happens when a necromancer succeeds too well. Terrified of his own mortality, he performed the ultimate act of self-mutilation. He surgically removed his own soul to make himself unkillable. His soul, his very death, is hidden inside a needle. That needle is in an egg. The egg is in a duck. The duck is in a hare. The hare is in an iron chest, buried beneath an ancient oak on a mythical island that may not even exist. As long as this chain remains unbroken, Koschei cannot die. He is immortal, but he is not alive. He is a soulless automaton of pure malice, a walking corpse who kidnaps and tortures for sport, his skeletal frame moved by nothing but ancient, unending spite. He is the terrifying endpoint of this path, an existence without joy, without fear, without a soul. He is a permanent wound on the world, a monster that cannot be put down. The price of cheating death wasn't just his humanity. It was the creation of an eternal, unkillable evil. To call to the dead is to risk opening a door to something that was never human at all. To seek immortality is to risk becoming a monster that makes the world wish you would just die. These tales are not just stories. They are warnings, carved into the flesh of history. They tell us that some doors should never be opened. If you have the stomach to peer into another abyss, to confront the monsters that lurk in our darkest myths, subscribe to our channel and ring the bell. We have so many more to show you. What other figures of dark magic do you know? Let us know in the comments below, because in the silence after the ritual, you are never truly alone again. Something always listens.